Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gone podcast. My name is Nathan Irvine and I'm joined as always by Paul Cropper from sunny Morocco, I do believe.
It is, yep. Beautiful place. My arm's on fire here. Arm's on fire. Yeah, what a gorgeous place. And you know what? The people are lovely. Absolutely lovely. Second time here, recommend it to anyone. Such nice people, the Moroccans.
There you go. Are you on commission?
I'd take a good 10% of anything, me, mate. You know that.
I can see you've got your all-inclusive band on round your wrist.
Look at that, yes. Just filled my boots. I've had my breakfast. Got my coffees there. The old pastries. The pastries down here. Already put on the stone. Been here 24 hours. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Good. It is what it's all about. Well, this podcast is all about that, but it's mostly going to be about this.
Back in by Cunha, and Cunha again! And short towards Fernandez. Sheshko! And away by McAllister. Kobbie Mainoo! Rattles it in at the Stretford end!
Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. The first time Manchester United have done the double over Liverpool since 2015-2016 under Louis van Gaal.
Is that correct? Oh, really?
Correct.
Wow.
It is.
Wow.
And we've done it again. It was a bit nervy. Bit of a nervy game, to be honest. Completely in control after the first about 15-20 minutes, probably after the first half as well. And then a couple of individual errors, which we'll get onto in a minute. But then it was topped off by Kobbie Mainoo, who capped a perfect week for him, getting 150 quid a week pay rise. I think that's what it was, and then scoring the winner against the Scousers. Your weeks can't get much better than that as a Manchester United player, surely.
He hates the Scousers, doesn't he, Kobbie Mainoo? He loves scoring against them, so it's a good performance from him as well. Some good performances, Nathan, and some not very good performances, I think.
Well, let me ask you the first question. Is Michael Carrick currently the best manager in the Premier League?
After beating the Scousers, yeah, of course he is. Yeah, Dave, of course he is. There's nobody can challenge him. And Pep blowing it last night, that tops it right off, doesn't it? Well, he's not, is he? But Michael Carrick couldn't have done, like I said last week, any more to get the job for Manchester United. Done everything he possibly can. He's done it all right. So I think there are rumours coming out now that I think he's forced a hand to offer him a new contract, and I think that's the way it's going now. I think once the Champions League was guaranteed, which it is now, brilliant thing. No, I don't think you could have brought anybody else in to have done a better job or to have matched that job. So everything he's done, you've got to give him the job now, and that's all Michael Carrick did. The only other thing is, like Gary Neville mentioned on something that he said the other day, does Michael Carrick take the job? And that will come down to, he will want guarantees of certain things. He will want guarantees of 3 midfielders. I need 2 new defenders. I need a striker. And if you're not going to give me that, I'm not going to sign a contract and I'll walk off, because we've seen the United job has crippled a few people when they've not got what they wanted, i.e. Jose Mourinho is the biggest example when you think of what he wanted. So that'll be the first thing Michael Carrick will be saying, yep, okay, I'll have the job, but I need these guarantees. I think that's the route we're going to go down.
Fair enough. I mean, when I said to you a second ago, is he the best current manager in the Premier League? There is no better manager in the Premier League who has a better record right now since he took over. So on the form table, so he's played 10, drawn 2, lost 2, 32 points, which is, I think, Arsenal, Man City might be second in that with 27 points. So he's got a better record than all of those managers. He's beat Pep, he's beat Arteta, he's beat Unai Emery, he's beat Slot twice. I think Amrin did the other one. I don't know. Can you get away with it? Can you say that he's currently the best manager in the Premier League? I think there's a case that you can say that when you look at the facts.
The facts and the stats say yes, he is, don't they? They just literally, and that's, if you're going to go off strikers, it's goals. If you go off managers, it's points. There you go.
There you go.
Write it down. Yeah, get that clip, Nathan. Michael Carrick is currently the best manager in the Premier League.
There we go. That's the clip. That's the one for social media. The fan baiting one.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's move on to the players then at the moment. And just have a look at the. Let's start with the bad. I know we're obviously going to talk about the good stuff, but let's just get the bad stuff out of the way right now. 2 individual errors. Senna Lamans, you can kind of excuse it because he hasn't really done much wrong this season. I think it was pointed out on a podcast that I listened to that, and when you watch it back, the passage you play like about 5 minutes before, he's done the same thing, and the possession's gone straight to the opposition again. So it's gone to the Scousers. He's second guessed himself with this one. And instead of playing a direct pass to his feet, he's obviously given the ball away straight to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's played Gakpo in. Easy. I can forgive him for that because then he went on and did a couple of massive saves later. Amad Diallo, mate, is he cooked? He looks really short of form at the moment, and he's not playing with confidence at all. I know you've always said, like, since he's got back from AFCON, and Brian Mbeumo as well, they haven't looked great, but Amad looked like a shell of his former self, mate.
He does, yeah. He looks like he needs a break, doesn't he? He looks like he can't wait for the end of the season. It also looks like he needs some help out there. There's a few moments, I mean, the past few games, I know the forwards are getting isolated and it's not allowing us to build this. But we're good if we start well, we start well. But Amad's one of these, and Mbeumo as well. They're not getting a lot of help. I know Sesko's doing a lot of closing down, but I think you saw in the second half as well when he came off. There's not another option there. So I think they're all getting isolated. The wingers they're being asked to tuck in, and then they're struggling to get up the other end. It needs to stick up there, and it's not sticking quite enough for the defence to be able to get out. Tactically, I think what Carrick's done to get to where he is also letting us sit in a bit, and we're trying to play on a counter-attack, which isn't helping Amad and Mbeumo and Cunha, and also Sesko. It's not helping the forward lads, but it's producing points. I think Amad, he's obviously better in the final third. That's where he does his best work. But if he's doing that from inside his own half and then he's being asked to go and create something from there, it's not helping him out. We need to be defending on the halfway line for these players to be at the best, especially Amad. And Mbeumo can play on a counter-attack. I don't think Amad's missing that. He's missing that yard at the minute of pace and power. And I think he's struggling with the physicality at the minute of the league.
I think the biggest issue that he's got at the moment is adapting back to playing in a 4-4-2 or 4-4-5-1 or whatever it is. He was turned into a wing back at the start of the season. Yes. No one wanted him to be a wing back at the start of the season, but then he was converted into one through Ruben Amorim, and he was playing well. He was playing okay there. And I think he had a very good relationship with Brian Mbeumo down that side. And they had an understanding, and they was overlapping, and they caused a lot of havoc down there. So it was every time they got out onto that right flank, they were causing problems to the left back of the opposition. Now there isn't that connection, and I think he's feeling massively isolated. And as you say, he's starting those runs from deeper in his half, but he's also not got anyone making the overlap. Dalot's not making that overlap. He will spring up in the penalty box somehow. You know, he teleports there, Dalot, and we'll spoon it into the
and then trip over his own feet. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he'll put it out of the stadium with a shot, but he's not getting that same connection with Amad going down that flank. And I think Michael Carrick did a very good thing at the end of the game. I don't know if you saw it. It was a clip of, you know, he went and shook hands with the opposition, and he was patting Manchester United players on the back and saying, you know, well done, like, well, good game. But he made a point of going over to Amad, and he just like gave him like a proper dad's hug, like put his arm around him. You know, it's clear what he was saying to him. You know, you'll do better in the future. But it was a lack of concentration, and he didn't seem to have the speed to get back, which was also a bit of a worry. It's like all his powers seem to have been. That maybe he's got a bit of kryptonite up his bum, but that's he doesn't seem to have any of the powers anymore that he usually did, and it's a bit of a worry for me. And it's the thing for me as well that he's pointing something out. We're fragile down that side. Do we now need to be looking for a right winger as well as a left winger in the transfer window?
Yeah. I think. No, I think he's the answer straight away there. I think with Mbeumo and Amad, I think you've got two very, very similar players, haven't you? Sometimes you want that competition to be Some players it'll spur him on. Some players it doesn't. I just think it is with Ahmad. Confidence. It's crazy how confidence can affect a professional footballer. He needs a break. He needs a good pre-season, and then he'll come back. I have no worries about Ahmad. I think he's a good Premier League player. I don't think he's top for starting 11 for Manchester United, in my opinion. I think Mbeumo starts ahead of him next season, but he is a very, very good option to be playing in the cup games, playing in the Champions League, and he'll bit of confidence, the lad, playing on the front foot in a team that dominates the ball. I think you'll find Ahmad will come good.
Right. Well, we've got all of the misery points out of the way, I do believe, apart from Bruno Fernandes being brutally robbed of his record tie-in assist, because FPL
They took it
gave
off him.
Fantasy
Yes,
Premier
they
League
did give
gave
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still got it on FPL, but official statisticians, Opta, wherever it is, whoever controls the Premier League, they've not given it him. So he's still got to get that. So again, just another little bit of a down point there. But you was about to say, did you have another down point? You had another
I was
negative?
just gonna
Come on,
mention
let's
the
get it out
goalkeeper.
the way. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get it done.
way.
Yes, you mentioned the goalkeeper and the mistake he made. That's on the stats again. That's apparently his first mistake he's made as a Manchester United player. So I don't think we can be. I know we've talked about his footwork and saves he should have made and things like that, but young kid, he'll learn from that. So let's not be too harsh on him. Big game, and like you have said, if he does make these little mistakes, he always pays us back with 2 or 3 saves. Always does. So yeah, brilliant from the goalkeeper. Big game, and his head's right in it.
Yeah, I've got no problems with Senna Lammens whatsoever.
Nope.
I think he's a big game player. Probably signing of the season. I know we've still got a few games to go, but he's probably my pick for signing of the season right now. Let's talk about the man of the moment, Kobbie Mainoo, who just every single week, and I'm going to say it every single week, because I don't understand why Ruben Amorim did not play Kobbie Mainoo. How can you get into that job at Manchester United, watch those players on the training pitch and go, nah, Ugarte's the better man for this job? How? But Kobbie's been fantastic, and he showed again his pedigree for Manchester United. He was superb.
He was another brilliant performance from the young lad. Deserves, like you said earlier on, deserves every penny of his pay rise. He was still on the youth team contract, wasn't he? Which I didn't know. Which is crazy to think. Where
15,000, I think it was 15,000,
something like that. Which to us is a lot, but when he's looking around on that training ground, like you say, and thinking, well, Ugarte's on that, and he's on that, and Casemiro's on that, and I'm the man that's starting it. I deserve. And do you know what? There was a few. We don't know with Amorim whether he was being told by people above him, there's a contract issue here, or we don't know what the issue was, do we? Because he just came out and said he wasn't physical enough. Well, I think he's shown since he's come back that's the most ridiculous thing you could have said, because he's got the most running stats. I think he's got a couple of man of the matches under his belt. Now adding goals to game, which we know he's got goals, Kobbie Mainoo. We know that he's probably better in the final third. That's probably his best position, is pushing up ball, because we know he's got goals in it. He strikes the ball lovely, but I think he did a lot of that on his own at the weekend. I think he was abandoned a lot of the time in there. There was a lot of United players who, in that second half, the legs had gone, and it was so open. And Casemiro, bless him, I was sat next to an old fella watching the game, because I just threw the cases in, threw the girls in the pool. Right, we landed. No, at 3 o'clock. The game's on at 3:30. One of the guy workers here said, put it on for me. And I thought, this could be 3-0. This could be 3-0. And then, when we started scoring, I thought, we'll batter these now. And then the second half come out, and Casemiro looked like he'd just put lead boots on. He couldn't handle it. He's trying to run, and the players are pulling away from him. So what he ends up doing then, he's committing. He commits to the first tackle and dives in. And then there's so much space in there. And I think it highlighted again, Mainoo needs help. He just needs help in there. I know everyone's calling for Casemiro 1 more year. It's not the right thing. Mainoo needs somebody in there who can physically dominate a big pitch like that, because I thought he did a lot of it on his own, unfortunately. Yeah, he was trying, and that's where we got overrun again.
I think the 60-game season on the horizon next year, Casemiro's doing well now because he's playing every week. He can't handle that type of schedule. Couple of games a week, League Cup run, FA Cup run, hopefully, Champions League, travelling all over the place. Like, it's the perfect farewell for him. Like, he's been a good servant for Manchester United. I do like the fact that they're singing to him, like, one more year, Casemiro. It's beautiful. It's a great send-off, and no other fans will ever love him as much as Manchester United fans did. So it's a good send-off. But you're absolutely right. He does need legs in there. But I thought Kobbie Mainoo, what he did was he took the game by the scruff of the neck in certain moments in the second half because he could see what was going on. He was caught out. I think there was a couple of really bad passes from Ahmad, from Dalot, from Bruno that caused counter-attacks, and it looked like the midfield was completely empty. But if you look at where the pass should have been played to, Kobbie was ahead of like Ahmad, or Casemiro was ahead. I think he was trying to play centre forward for the last 30 minutes, Casemiro. But they weren't getting the ball to them, so it was impossible for them to be effective. But I thought Kobbie decided, I'm going to come a bit deeper here. And he bossed McAllister and Szoboszlai, and they couldn't get the ball off him. And once he started to impose himself on the game, it felt like it was inevitable. We're going to get another goal. And I think that's a great thing for Manchester United fans right now. Even when they came back at 2-2, I still felt like Man United could score another goal. We haven't felt like that for ages. We have not felt like that for ages.
But Mainoo's got that United DNA in him, hasn't he, of never give up, never go. And what you can see in him as well, in the last 5-10 minutes, he doesn't panic. Do you know, there's a lot of teams that you see when they're chasing a goal. United have done it for years and years. There's loads of time left. Calm down. And he'll just keep the ball. He'll keep it going wide. And then you can't go down that way. We'll go the other way and we'll keep... Doesn't have to be mayhem. Just calm down. And you can see he's got that in him of, no, we'll get another goal here. We'll get another goal. That's not built into every player. And that's probably from him being at the club since he was 4-year-old, whatever he was. Yeah, another brilliant performance from Mainoo. And so glad that he signed a new contract. And yeah, Ruben Amorim. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Come outside. Just want to talk. There's two other points that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to lump these both together though. But Cunha and Sesko continue to be on a pretty decent goal scoring streak at the moment, which is really heartening to see because we're not just reliant on one player getting the goals now. For so many seasons, it was Bruno Fernandes scoring them. I mean, for portions of this season, it was Casemiro scoring goals. But Sesko and Cunha, moments players, it doesn't matter. I thought Sesko actually played very well in the first half. His movement was good. He's obviously carrying a little bit of an injury, which is why he went off at half time. Cunha, he just loves it. Cunha just loves it. And he loves Carrick, and he backed him at the end of the game. He said he's got that Sir Alex Ferguson aura about him, teaching the players what it's like to play for Manchester United. So he understands it. And I think a lot of the players are leaning towards Carrick being the main man now. The second thing, in fact, there's three things I wanted to talk about. The second thing is, I hope Sir Alex Ferguson's all right because he was rushed in hospital, wasn't he, pre-game? Apparently, he's recuperating at hospital at home, so it was a scare, but he seems to be out the other side of that. So we're wishing him well. And then the last thing that I wanted to kind of touch on was the way that it felt like as a collective, Manchester United just went to another level when they were 2-2. It took a long time to get to it, but they went to another level in terms of their mentality. And I'm so glad that we're seeing that togetherness. And it's coming from Carrick. He's got them all together. It's coming from Steve Holland as well. Let's not underestimate what effect Steve Holland is having on this team right now, because he's outclassed all the top managers right now. And it's that a lot of that is coming from him. And that feeling of, as I said before, we're going to score another goal. Brilliant. But also, they look like they're up for it. They do look like they're up for it, and they didn't back down. Previously, we might have been battered there. We might have conceded another 2-3 goals, and then that record from 1984 disappears, where we haven't lost, having led at half time. But no, they fought tooth and nail for it, and that's heartening to see. And I think with the right summer transfer window, which we'll come on to in a second, or we'll come on to later on in the podcast, I think United could reach brand new levels with it.
Yeah, it's like you say, Steve Holland deserves all the credit in the world as well to be alongside Michael Carrick. That's another thing Carrick will want assurances of, being able to pick his backroom staff, the right people to come in. Will he add more people to it? Wayne Rooney's floating around Old Trafford quite a bit, I've noticed. Something in that.
I think he's
I
just there
wouldn't
for
be
the
against
pies,
it.
mate.
I wouldn't be against Rooney joining that backroom staff, I'll be honest with you. But Carrick will definitely want assurances about it. Steve Holland, brilliant job. Never really knew a lot about him. You hear things about Holland, especially when he was at England and things. And anyone speaks about football, apparently he's one of the most knowledgeable people, isn't it?
United
Yeah,
fan as well. Travels home and away.
Yeah, I believe so. That thing of you felt like United were always going to score. That's something, like you said, it's in United. We need to do this on a consistent basis now, don't we?
Yeah.
Because that Leeds game still sticks in the back of my head. How you can approach certain games. Michael Carrick's got this knack of getting this group of players to perform against the big teams and to, right, we need to win this now. Now it's about doing it on a consistent level. That Leeds game was not good enough to start like that. And you can tell straight away with United, this team, you can tell within the first minute they're up for it.
Yeah.
It's not right, is it? You should be up for every single game. The Newcastle game, they weren't up for it. They were flat. Whether that's because they're not physically ready for it, or whether somebody in the changing room's not saying what needs to be said, or you don't really know. But starting the Newcastle game and the Leeds game, that's not right. You approach it every single game like you approach the first half against Liverpool, like you approach the first half against City. But you have to do that for, like you said, 60 games. And that's the pressure of being at a big club. It's not acceptable to do it 4 times out of 5. It's just not acceptable. You have to do it 5 times out. If you want to win anything in football, you have to approach every single game like someone's trying to take your dinner off you.
God, it does need a jingle. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
overrated, underrated. I should just sing all jingles. Everyone loves my voice, apparently.
That's the best way to do it, mate. That is the best way to do it. That's the new jingle for underrated, overrated there, where we basically pull a player from the past and the present, and we try and decide whether or not, well, obviously, are they underrated or are they overrated within Manchester United's fan base. Today, I've got a decent one for you, mate. I think it's going to be like I feel like he's a little bit of a Marmite player. You either love him or you don't.
Not a fan of Marmite.
Neither am I. Spent 9 years at Old Trafford, this player. 261 appearances and 19 goals. He won the Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, and Europa League. Mr. Paul Cropper, would you like to guess who this is before I reveal who it is?
Juan Mata?
Juan Mata is a good shout, but it's no. One more?
No. Give us a position.
Nah, give it away. It's not
Jesse
a
Lingard.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. It is the recently retired Ipswich Town wing-back or left winger, Ashley Young.
Oh,
Ashley
like
Young,
it.
mate.
19 goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. When I was doing my research, I was like, that can't be right. And I checked a bit
double
further
check
down.
it.
No, it was. He was never prolific for Manchester United. But if you remember, he was moved back into the wing-back position. Started off high up the pitch when we got him from Villa, and then he was moved to like wing-back or left-back. And he even did that when he went to Inter as well, when he left Man United and went to Inter. So
and grew his hair randomly. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's just a random one. He got hair, didn't he? He always had hair. He used to always shave his head, but then he went to Italy and grew hair.
Apparently, he always had hair. He just always shaved it off. My favourite image, or the meme image of Ashley Young is, do you remember the bit when he's walking on the Old Trafford pitch and a bit of bird poop lands in his mouth?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah. He denied it though, didn't he? Did he deny it and say it never happened?
But what was it? What was it if it wasn't bird poop? Early AI, maybe.
I do remember that.
Right. Anyway,
you want an answer, don't you?
Is Ashley Young overrated or underrated during his time at Manchester United?
I'm gonna straight off the bat. I'm gonna say he was underrated because I think Ashley Young got every ounce of what he was as a footballer. I think he achieved everything that he could have achieved. I don't think he underachieved at all. I think he got to a big club, played well. Did he come from Watford? Went to Villa?
Went
That
to
right? I
Villa,
think
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went to Villa. Did very, very well at Villa. I think he was linked with a few clubs, wasn't he? And he could go. He tell you, what, he could whip a crossing, wasn't he?
Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant at crossing the ball. Then he came to us. I remember some very, very good performances. I remember was it under Moyes where he whipped in about 65,000 crosses or something like that, and
Yeah.
just keep crossing it. But he worked hard. You can't say he never worked hard, and you can imagine him being in the changing rooms and in training every single day, being a top grafter. Actually, Young. He seems like a top lad, and I think he would have been well liked around the club. But to say he was overrated, I think would be very, very harsh because I think he achieved everything in the game possible for what his level was. Yeah, I think he got every ounce of everything out that he could have done.
I think he was one of
Some
he was
special
one of those
performances.
players. Yeah, I think he was one of those players, Ashley Young. I'm inclined to agree, by the way, that he's underrated. I think when obviously I didn't get his assist stats, but I'm sure he's probably up there in terms of his assists when he was at Manchester United. His ability to play anywhere that he was asked was also very good. He actually had a bit of a time playing central midfield as well, and behind the striker. Playing in that number 10 role. There was a few times when that had to happen as well, and he was just adaptable to wherever he went. As we said, not massively prolific, but you think of that 8-2 against Arsenal. I think that's probably the standout game for him. I think
That's what stuck in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, that and the bird poop in the mouth. But that's the big thing for me. When he scored that goal, when it was obvious, you always knew when he opened his body up in a certain way, he was going for goal and it was probably going top bins. And that's what Ashley Young gave you all the time. And that one that he scored against Arsenal, I can't remember who it is that he takes on. Might be, is it Gail Clichy maybe? But he just flies past him and it's top bins. It's like, come on.
He also snapped into tackles, didn't he? He did snap into tackles a lot, Ashley Young, and that I'm just trying to think back of moments that he had, and all you can really remember him is being in a winning team, can't you? That's all I can remember, actually, being in a winning team. And he, similar to someone like a Park Ji-sung, he was a grafter up and down. And if you're a fullback, you'd want someone like him in front of you because he would help you out and he would chase back and he would work. And then when he went to fullback, he was just as good there, wasn't he? He played. It's simple. Like Antonio Valencia did the same thing. And he went to a fullback, and you're like, how's that going to work? And they were both like, good fullbacks. To go to Italy and both be a fullback, you've got to be half decent and have a good defensive mind about you and tactically be aware. So yeah, Ashley Young, yeah, good player. Good player.
He won Serie A with Inter Milan as well. So he's got championship medals everywhere. I think one of the reasons why I do believe he's underrated as well is because I know he came at a bad time, when we was going through transitions and stuff. But Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, Europa League, I feel like he deserved more than that. Honestly, I think he was one of those squad players that, as you say, never really caused any issues, and he seemed like one of those players that just got in there and got on with it. I think he deserved probably more silverware for his output. So yeah, I'm certainly classing him as underrated.
I think you're probably right because we've done a few of these now, haven't we? And when you compare him to someone like Nani, who I said was overrated, Nani had all the skills, the ability of shooting, but he never seemed to apply himself 100%, did he? I don't think the same can be said about Ashley Young, and that's every team in the Premier League would have a player like Ashley Young in the squad for me at the minute. Yeah, top. Coppers transfer corner. Just do that from the 7th floor. Corner. The whole of Morocco's looking around now.
Go and shout it from the balcony, mate.
Who's this idiot?
Go and invite him in. Right, Cropper's transfer corner. Can we start with the story that Manchester United are looking for 3 midfielders? Can we start with that?
We can. Yeah, you sent it to me last night, didn't you? So let's cover this. So it's The story is come out in a few places, didn't it? Because you sent it me first, and I thought, where's that come from? And then as you go on social media, you see a few people have reported it. So the story is
Daily
United
Mail
are
was
looking at.
apparently Chris Wheeler at the Daily Mail was apparently the first person that tweeted this out. But yeah, there you go.
Okay, but it does make sense, though, doesn't it? When you look at it, so United are looking at spending 140-ish million on 3 centre midfielders. So they're looking at a main one, a marquee 80 million centre midfielder, a 40 million centre midfielder, and then a bargain 20 million midfielder. Say bargain, it's a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
So you asked me to come up with 3 players in those brackets. So I've done that, but obviously I've got 15 players here.
Of course you have, because
So
you can never do
yeah,
whatever
because
number I tell you to do.
no, never, no chance. You got no chance. So I tell you what, you give me your 3, and I'll see if they're on my list.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I knew that. I
Let's
knew
go.
that this would be the best way to do it. Right. So in the 80 million bracket, my pick. So I've got a my pick, and then I've got a realistic pick. Okay.
Okay,
So,
right, yep.
so I've gone with two in each position. So my pick is Elliot Anderson at 80 million, because
Yep.
that's how much I think he's worth. 100 million, 120 million, forget it. It's crackers. But at 80 million, and if he's not wooed by Manchester City and Pep Guardiola leaves and he's like, oh, I'd quite like to go there. If Carrick stays, it probably helps our case, I think. Both from that northeast, aren't they? So he might be able to convince him to come to Manchester United. But who knows? Depends who throws the most money at him. So Elliot Anderson is my pick for the 80 million bracket. Realistically, I think that 80 million, and I don't want it to, but I think realistically that 80 million is going to be spent on someone like Carlos Baleba.
Interesting. Okay, I've put Anderson in my list there. The other 2 names are Wharton and Tonali.
Okay.
I think you would be right in saying Anderson is probably going to City. So 80 million for me, Tonali comes in. Fits in that Casemiro replacement, marquee signing. I think that is one of the. I think there's a very high chance of that happening, Nathan. If he doesn't go to Arsenal, Tonali, I think he'll be in a red shirt. 40 million.
So this one was interesting because it actually earmarked that it was a replacement for Ugarte. So I think for United to be able to spend 40 million on a midfielder, Ugarte needs to exit stage left. However, Ugarte is on something like 170 grand a week. Or no, not 170. I think he's on about 120 a week, which is a lot of
I
money.
wonder Mainoo was spitting, wasn't he?
I know exactly.
Mainoo fuming. Yeah,
I know. It's unreal. I should have checked Capology for the exact amount that he was on, but he's on a large amount. Anyway, if they can shift him on and the 40 million replacement comes in, my pick for that is Mateus Fernandez at West Ham.
Good shout.
And
very good shout.
But I think realistically, and there's a lot of smoke on this one at the moment, it's going to be Edison at Atalanta.
Okay. Right. So you've put things, I put people in different. I've got Fernandez on mine as well. There's a lot of clubs coming to lining up for Mateus Fernandez from West Ham this season, especially looking now like they're going to get relegated. So I've put him in that 40 million bracket. I think it's a realistic signing. Interestingly, none of us have put João Gomez in there at this bracket, which I think is the price that Wolves will be looking at for him. Whether he's in the next bracket or I don't know. I've also got Alex Scott in there. Alex Scott is a 40 million. I think United love him. I do. I think that's what they'll be looking at. 40 million fair price for Alex Scott. I think he's a future England international. I've put Baleba in there as well, Nathan, in my 40 million, because I think that's what he's worth. And I don't think, take it or leave it. No, we'll move on. If you not, I know he's back in the team now, Baleba, and I watched him the other day actually. I thought, yeah, I think it was against Newcastle. I thought, yeah, he seems to be firing back again. But yeah, 40 million for me. 48 at the most. There you go.
Interesting. 48 is very
bargain.
specific.
It is. Hey, you never know. So you bargain midfielder, Nathan. Who have you got in there?
So, sorry, just to go back to the 40 million one.
Oh, yeah.
João Gomez, I think, is probably set to go to Atletico Madrid. I know he's liked by Manchester United, but I just think that 40 million role who's coming in is going to have to work their way into the team. I think João Gomez goes to Atletico Madrid, or Edison for that matter. They go to Atletico Madrid and they start there. So, and I think Gomez is probably at that age where he's like, yeah, I want to go and be the linchpin at Atletico
Fair
Madrid. So that's why he wasn't in my lineup. Okay, 20 million picks. Okay. Now, again, this is not knowing a lot about him, but I'm banking on potential here, right? I've seen his show reels. I've seen what he can do, but we're banking on potential. So my pick for the £20 million role is Keith Smith at AZ.
Yeah.
Because I think he will need to grow into the role. We've seen from Dutch players before that they don't always, or from the Dutch league, they don't always settle straight away at Old Trafford in the Premier League. So I think 20 million is a decent shout for him. They'll probably want 40, 50, but I think 20 million is a fair price for Keith Smith. The realistic one is, I think, if Carrick stays, I think Hayden Hackney's coming from Borough.
Just been reading that Forest are in deep talks, and there was another club that just tried to come in and make another offer. Can't think about it top of my head. I think he's far down the line of joining Forest, actually, Nathan, there. But yeah, if Carrick gets a nod, he loves him, doesn't he? And he would want him in that team. Yeah. Not a bad shout, that, Nathan. Not a bad shout. I've £20 million. So I'm going to say that's what, 25 million euros? That's what I'm going to say. Yep. It should be a salesman, me. I've put Edison in there. I think Edison can be done at that price. I know there's talks of Atletico Madrid they've offered João Gomez and him a decent amount of wages, but I also read this morning that United have come in and blown him out of the water for Edison. They said, no, we can offer you more wages than that. So I think if you offer Atlanta 25 million euros, don't think he's got long left on his contract, Edison. He will move this summer. Let's be, and they will take 25 million euros, and I think we can offer them a better wage. Offer his entourage a better wage, better bonus system than what they can in Atletico. And you think a midfield of Tonali, Alex Scott, Edison, Kobbie Mainoo? It's not bad at all, that, Nathan, is it?
It's not. But then where do you play Bruno Fernandes?
I play him further up the pitch.
Is he gone in goals?
Stop coming deep. Get up that pitch next to Sesko. Don't leave his side because he needs help, that lad.
See, I look at the price brackets that we've got: 80, 40, 20. 80 you're starting, 40 you're earning your place in the team, 20 you might even end up going out on loan.
Or
so
potential.
You've got that, so you've got that contingency plan that's going through. I think. Well, I know I'm reading it now. The Edison apparently wants to go to Atletico Madrid, but it's United that have bid more for him. I think the guy that's on the Fabrizio Romano podcast, Matteo Moretto, I think he covers Serie A. He was on there. He's one of the top boys in terms of knowing about the moves from Serie A, and he was saying Man United they will blow whatever offer Atletico want, but I think he's got his heart set on going to Spain. But who knows? Okay. I don't think they'll get him for 20 million though, mate. Edison's probably got, you're looking at 30, 40 million for him. And that's a good price. That's a good price.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I've always liked him, and I've always said that's the kind of player. Owen Hargreaves, as I always say, always speaks highly about him and says he's perfect for that United midfield. He probably is. And that midfield at the weekend wouldn't have been left open. And you can imagine him running the show, can't you, alongside me? I think he's probably ideal. But the other chap, Matías Fernandes, keep your eye on that one, because I think that's heating up.
I think the Fernandes one will be if they get relegated. So, Spurs and West Ham are fighting for survival at the moment. If Forest won last night, obviously, so they're probably drag themselves away from the relegation zone. But yeah, if West Ham go down, they'll have to cash in. And I think they need to sell. They need to sell players anyway. They're in an absolutely disgraceful state.
The Portuguese Bruno Fernandes role, I think, will help us a lot in that transfer. If he has a choice to make, I think Bruno Fernandes will be able to bend his ear to come to Old Trafford. And he would be, it's harsh to say, a poor man's Elliot Anderson. I think if you can't get Anderson, I think Matías Fernandes is probably the next best thing from the Premier League.
Okay, I'm going to start with the Gummers mailbag today. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to get the first question out there. It's quite a big one as well from Ed.
Okay, shoot.
He says, following his interview with Gary Neville recently and confessing his love for Manchester United, I have 2 questions about Bruno Fernandes. 1, has he already achieved legend status at the club? And 2, is it worrying, based on his comments, that United could try to let him leave again this summer? So let's do the second part first. Is it?
Yeah, I was going to do that first.
So he was talking about staying basically, and like he had all of these opportunities to leave, and he always chose to stay at United because, and I quote, he would not find the joy at another club as he would at Manchester United achieving success, which suggests that he's just completely smitten with the club and loves it. So, he's already one of us, which probably answers question 1. But is it worrying that United could let him leave? Do you think they'd be tempted with a big fee?
Yeah, yeah, it is worrying because I think I said it last week as well. You can't replace Bruno Fernandes. Who do you go and get? Even if they give you 120 million for him, how do you go and replace 20 odd assists, which he's going to end up in? How do you replace the best number 10 in the league? Because for me, Bruno Fernandes walks into every other team in that Premier League. Not many players you can say that about in that United team. So to go and replace him, you probably need 200 million. And I don't even think you can replace what Bruno Fernandes gives you. I think this season he stepped it up again, hasn't he? He's gone again, and he's improved. Who's to say Bruno Fernandes, with the way he plays, never being injured, can run like a horse, never stops, creates things, scores goals? Who's to say he can't do that for the next 3 or 4 years? I don't see why you can't. So to go and get that, to go and get those stats, you're having to pay top money, and yeah, it is worrying because I do think Ineos will be looking at it and going, 120 million, the big wage gone. We can spread that over 4 or 5 players. It's not the right thing to do, is it?
The only thing that suggests to me that they could let him go, or two, like one thing that might mean he stays. Saudis are pulling out of sports left, right, and centre. They cancelled that big snooker tournament that they had over there after 2 seasons, I think. They're about to pour their finances from Live Golf. If you believe the rumours, they might be pulling out of the money for Newcastle United as well. So, and obviously this is to do with the conflict that's going on over here in the Middle East. They're trying to rein everything back in. Their super projects are being reined back in so that they can focus the money elsewhere. So that's one reason why he might stay. But then he's also apparently got a release clause for a European club, which is a lot lower. It's around 40, 50 million or something like that. So if a Bayern Munich came in for him for whatever reason, or if someone like, somewhere back in Spain, then you're relying on, does he want to continue living in Manchester? Does he still feel the love? Is this the right time to make that move because it's going to be at the end of his career? Is it time to move abroad and go somewhere else? I don't think he will. I don't think he will. But I do think that United would be tempted.
Yeah, he's stuck in that. I've always said now for Bruno Fernandes, now he stayed last summer, he should get the option to do whatever he wants. He should do. I think he's stuck in that similar situation now to when Gerrard was at Liverpool. Do I go? We're not really winning anything. Or what's better for me? Is it if I win something at Manchester United, if I win the league at United, is that better than winning 2 leagues at Bayern Munich? Is that better than winning La Liga at Real Madrid? And reading between the lines of Bruno Fernandes, do I uproot my family? Them kind of things are going through his mind. He'll probably be thinking, if I win something here, that's worth 10 times of winning anything anywhere else. I just can't see Bruno Fernandes going in and saying, yes, I want to leave, especially with the trajectory we're on. If we were on that, we're finishing 15th, 16th, or, we were finishing 9th, 10th, and he's probably looking at this now going, well, if I go to Real Madrid, if I go to Bayern Munich, I'll be walking into the best team in Europe. Yeah, well, everybody wins anything at Bayern Munich. If I stay at United, and this probably comes back to the first part of the question, and I win that Premier League, I am a club legend, and I will forever be known as a club legend. I think he already is. I think he's already got that status now. He's just equalled the Cristiano Ronaldo's goals assists record, and I think so many goals assists in the game. He's just equalled it. So I think you can put Bruno Fernandes up there as a club legend for me. I think you can,
and for me as well. Good. You've got a Fergie's gum. You've got a Gummers mailbag thing there. However, can I just say, right at the top of the show when we were talking about that win over Liverpool, didn't even talk about the fact that we've qualified for the Champions League. It's Champions League next season, mate.
It was never in doubt, though, Nathan, was it? Never in doubt at the beginning of this season, was it?
I've started following the Instagram account of the Champions League again. So beautiful,
brilliant,
beautiful rendition, which should allow fringe players to now make an appearance against like Sunderland from this weekend onwards. So we might see a bit more Shea Lacey. We might see Jim Thwaites in the first team. I think he can still do it.
Get Big Jim. Get Big Jim
and a few of the other boys. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I'd touch
we didn't
on that before you went on to the Gummers mailbag.
You have to say, did any of us think that would happen before at the end of last season?
No,
I didn't.
No, not at all. Well, I did. I had a bet with the host of the radio show, Chris. I said that we would finish fourth, and that was while Ruben Amorim was still in charge. That was right at the beginning of the season. So
was that after the transfer window? So it was after the transfer window, was it that?
Yeah.
Let's have another transfer window like that, another successful one, and then you never know where this team can go.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So I've got two. This one here is, what are my thoughts on a potential swap deal with Xerxes and Rafael Leao after last week? Because I mentioned about the club being linked with him last week, and it's come out this week that there is a swap deal, apparently. So what are my thoughts and your thoughts on that swap deal? I think it's a great deal for both parties.
So Ahmad is like, he put in the group, didn't he, that he thought that selling Xerxes would be a massive mistake.
He did, he did put that in there.
He does love Jay-Z, and I like Jay-Z as well. However, as I said in the group, he needs to be in a team where it's built around him to get the most out of his skill set. I don't think he adds anything. And when he came on against Liverpool, I thought he played okay, but I also saw the limitations of having him in that position because he was playing out wide. He wasn't really playing down the middle a lot of the time. And I just don't think he is what we need right now. So if there is a swap deal, it sounds like a robbery, by the way, if we was to swap Jay-Z with Rafael Leao.
Plus 25 million, it says here.
What, we would pay 25 million?
Yeah, we would pay 25 million plus Xerxes for Leao.
Well, I mean, that balances it out slightly. I don't think United would be keen on a player plus cash. I think they'd be keen on some sort of swap deal that didn't cost as much as that.
And included Ugarte. You can have Ugarte and Joshua Xerxes for Leao. What are you saying to that?
I think we would still need to give them money if we was giving him Ugarte. I'd love it to happen. I don't think it will. But yeah, Leao over Xerxes with the current system that we're playing is far more effective.
That's the key point you said there, Nathan. Joshua Xerxes, what is it? What position does he play? I don't think there's a position in that tactical setup for him. Not a winger. He's not a lone striker. He's not really a 10. I think he's kind of a second striker. He needs a strike partner to play alongside. He's now stuck in that position that Mainoo was stuck in when we were playing that stupid formation with the Portuguese man of you need Bruno to not be in this team, mate, for you to get a place. So Xerxes now, Mainoo's now we found a place for him. Xerxes, he's kind of stuck in limbo, isn't he? So I think a fresh start he seems very, very popular amongst the squad, doesn't he? Joshua Xerxes.
He apparently doesn't want to leave either. He apparently doesn't want to leave.
Yeah. I just don't, unless the Champions League gives him more options to play. But I think Sesko would be your man to start in the Champions League because I think that's where he will score most of his goals. But unfortunately, I see it happening, and I can see Rafael Leao being a perfect person to bring in for that front 3, if you like, because I think he can play all along it and gives us a different option we've not got. Yeah, so, yeah, thank you for the question. I'm all for it. The next one is from Kev, who, true gummer, loves the question as well. He's asked, now he asked me that, he sent me this last week, the day after we did the podcast. I thought, oh, that's a great one, that. And then TalkSport did it about 48 hours ago. And I thought, you lot, they just love copying us. Don't they? But anyway, the question was, who is better, Gyökeres or Sesko? Who would we have in our team? So I think it's probably something after Gyökeres scoring a few more goals recently. Sesko's popping up with the important goals as well. A few people have jumped on it and thought, well, who is actually better? Your thoughts?
I think I'd rather have Sesko in the team, but that's mostly down to his age. I think you'll get more out of Sesko, and I think he's got a higher ceiling in terms of what he can potentially do in the future. I think with Gyökeres, it's more to do with the there and now. And this is going to sound awful. I still think he's a flat track bully. I think he's a stat padder in terms of the goals that he scores. I've not got the stats in front of me right now, but I imagine a lot of his goals have come against teams that Arsenal should be beating. And that's why they bought him. You know, it wasn't to get past Liverpool, to get past City, to get past Manchester United. They bought him to beat those lower teams that they usually struggled with. And I think he's had a decent season, Gyökeres. I think he's done well, and I think he's proved a lot of people wrong. But in terms of who would I have for Manchester United, it would still be Sesko, because I just think he's got more in him, and we know what Gyökeres has got. We're seeing it. Fantastic, well done. Do what you've got to do. But Sesko, I feel like he could turn into whatever the next manager wants him to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't swap Sesko for Gyökeres right now. I think it speaks volumes of where both clubs are at and the difference between where Arsenal are at and where United are at. Gyökeres is probably at his full potential, and he's scoring. What's he got? 20 goals this season. I think he's there already. I think he's not going to get any better. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can't say no. Oh, he's garbage, which is what probably most fans would want us to say. But no, I'm not going to say that. I think he's done well in his first season. Will probably get 15, 20 goals almost every season he's at Arsenal. I think also it speaks volumes that in the big games against the big clubs, Arteta starts with Kai Havertz. So that says a lot to me as well, because he's technically not that man to hold the ball up and be able to. He will run channels for you, Gyökeres. He's that type of player. I think Sesko's got that in him as well. I think Sesko's got that. I will run channels in. He's knackered after an hour, Sesko, isn't he? I know being 6'9" or 6'7" is not easy to run. And did you see it when he clattered into the Hardings during the game? You think a big lad like that running at that pace and clattering into the Hardings at Old Trafford, that it must hurt. But he's got an hour in him at the minute.
With a little push. It
was a foul. It was a foul. It didn't get.
If we're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes getting sent off for his slide tackle, then let's run it all the way back to dangerous play for Konate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been I know Sesko's not had I'm happy with his season, to be fair, Sesko. I think he's building slowly. I think the past 2 games, I know he only had 45 minutes against Liverpool. The game before, I said he had another very good 45 minutes, and I can see him progressing. I can see him getting more confident. He needs to get fitter. I think he's linking up well. His work rate is what, for me, I've been impressed with. I think he's closing down. He's underrated. I think he does it quite well, actually. It's closing down. Whether he can do that for 90 minutes, he needs help as well up there. I do think he's getting, as I said earlier, he's getting a bit isolated up there. So I would like Bruno Fernandes to stay only 10 yards away from him. Instead of going deep, picking up the ball, I'd like Bruno Fernandes. And when he does that, Bruno Fernandes, when he does actually go, there's a few times he's played as a second striker. He's just gone and stood right next to him. When he does that, I think we look dangerous then, because Bruno Fernandes is in and around him. I know he's tall, Sesko. I think he could do with being a bit stronger. But like you said earlier, and you hit the nail on the head, his ceiling goes far beyond where Gyökeres is. There's potential in him there to say, I don't think he's at Gyökeres level just quite yet, say he's just behind him, but I think the potential in the kid is to far out exceed him. And he could go on to be one of Europe's best strikers. He's technically that good. But also, I think the staff will enjoy moulding him. I think they'll enjoy working with him. He looks like he takes everything on board. I bet he's a bit of a sponge, and you'll be able to mould him into, like you say, whatever you want, because he's got everything you want as a striker. Yeah, top player.
Fair. That is fair. We are at the end of the podcast now, but I did want to just rein back into a conversation that we was talking about before when you was mentioning about Bruno Fernandes and about whether he's a club legend or not, and replacing him. Based on our conversations that we had on the last podcast and maybe the podcast before, there is a newsletter that is all about Bruno Fernandes and what life would look like without him, which you can get from fergiesgunpodcast.com. Check it out on there where we're talking about, well, I'm talking about the fact that even with 120 million, you still don't buy that type of player. And there's many reasons for that, which I go into detail about. So next up, we have got Sunderland. I'll get a quick prediction from you. We're at the Stadium of Light. They're on a bit of a slide at the moment. Do you think United rock up there and win?
No, I don't. Well, I think we'll get a point. I think they've done the hard work now, the players. They got over the line. I said we were stuttering over the line. I don't see any good performances now till the end of the season now. I think we'll get a point. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that's optimistic.
I don't care.
Brilliant.
I don't care because I'll be on the all-inclusive, so I'll be happy.
There we go. On that bombshell. I'll go 2-all as well. But on that 2-all. Bombshell.
2-all, yeah.
Yeah, 2-all. Thanks for joining me. I know you've taken time out to do this on your holiday while I'm sat here dodging missiles again. But we do it for the love of it and for the Gummers as well. So we will talk to you again after the Sunderland game.